The men's 5,000 metres, T11 and 6 go in this. The reigning European champion is Nuno Alves of Portugal, who didn't finish the 1,500 metres final yesterday. He dropped out quite early, but he is in the start list for this. We shall see shortly if he's on the start line. 1,500 metres champion Semi Denise is here also. So it is a straight final in this men's 5,000 metres. T11, so that's complete visual impairment. Really full start line. So here we go. Let's give you the lineup of the 6 athletes for this men's 5,000 metres final. We start off with Hasan Huseyin KACAR of Turkey. Silver in the 1,500 metres yesterday, bronze in the 15 last year at the Worlds. First major championship for Avi Adani Solomon of Israel. His guide, Asaf Dik Dagan. 221 Manuel GARNICA was 4th in the 1,500 final yesterday. Bronze in the 15 of the last Europeans, Manu GARNICA from Spain. He is here after pulling out inside the lap in the 1,500 metres final yesterday. That's Nuno Alves, the reigning European champion from Swansea 2 years ago. Semi Denise of Turkey, the 1,500 metres champion for the last 2 Europeans, including this one. And Ricardo de Pedraza Loza of Spain, Super Bolos, as he's from Toledo, European champion in 2012. He finished 5th in the 1,500 metres final yesterday. His regular guide is American David Medeiros. Missed a lot of last season through a groin operation. So T11, all the athletes completely blind, so reliant on their guides. We'll introduce the guides as the race goes on, and there's lots of field action to get underway as well this morning. So underway, the first track action of day 3 in Grosseto. Expect a little bit of bumping straight away. By the way, we had that in the 1,500 metres final. I wonder if that's not actually what happened to Nuno Alves yesterday with his very early exit. So taking the lead early on, it's Semi Denise of Turkey. His guide is Mohammed Emen Tan. In the 5,000 metres and the 10,000, you can elect to have 2 guides. Hasn't always been the case where they have all received medals. And the only one who's elected to have 2 guides, Hasan Huseyin KACAR of Turkey. He's making the move on the outside alongside Mohammed Ugur Sakir. Turkey 1 and 2 at the moment. Second place is Semi Denise, also of Turkey.
First lap underway and a relatively sedate start as you'd expect in the heat here at Grosseto. As we say, 21 degrees centigrade already here in Tuscany. We expect this one to take its time as it keeps moving along. Turkey still 1 and 2 at the moment. Hasan KACAR, the fastest man in the field this season, up there alongside his teammate Semi Denise. It's KACAR who's taking it at the front at the moment, and they've broken away into an early front group of 3 athletes. Already a divide in the field there.
All very well grouped right now, those 2 Turkish athletes taking it up, Hasan Huseyin KACAR and Semi Denise. With them, Nuno Alves. He's had misfortune in having to pull out and not finishing finals in the last 2 major championships, including this one. But he's up in the 4 at the moment, and also up there is Manuel GARNICA of Spain. GARNICA's guide being Francisco Javier Castro. Alves' guide being Ricardo Abreu. But the last major championship races that he's finished, he's won medals in the Europeans in Swansea. Gold in the 5,000 metres, silver in the 15. And has been winning major championship medals since the World Championships in 2002 in Lille, which was bronze in the 1,500 metres. The other 2 are well back, Ricardo de la Proza Loza of Spain and the championship debutant Avi Solomon of Israel.
Yeah, finding it very difficult at the moment, Solomon. De Pedraza Loza was 5th in the 1,500 yesterday. There is already a good 30 or 40 metre gap between that front 4 and the trailing 2. As we say, Solomon making his debut in a major competition, the 32-year-old. Still the two Turkish athletes leading the way at the moment. Hasan KACAR and Semih Deniz, the two that we fancied for a potential Turkish 1-2 to kick off day 3 here in Grosseto. They're in control at the moment, but on the shoulders still, Nuno Alves and Manuel GARNICA. Alves will just be pleased to have got through the first 3 laps after yesterday.
That is a tremendous gap that's opened up, and I mean, this very much is the pace. It is quite sedate, but the other two athletes have found it hard. But obviously, it being a 5,000 meters and it being warm, and it's definitely mid-20s already, it definitely feels it. And the main stand here in Grosseto in this Carlo Zucchini Olympic Stadium, it is a little bit open, so we are getting a lot of the sunshine in on us. And it's a small indication of how hard it is down there on the track already. I remember the World Championships in Lyon 3 years ago, a very open stand around, and we'd lots of athletes in the very long races who were dropping out, and it wasn't too far off the pace in Doha either last year, when we had a lot of late finishes. A lot of the long races were at 9-10 p.m. in order to avoid the main heat of the day in those World Championships, when we were in the high 30s at the very least. So it's as you were very much at the front, and expected to be this way for quite a few laps to come. The two Turkish athletes, 777, Hasan Huseyin KACAR. Now his guide Mohamed Ugur Sakir can be switched at various points. Erdi Aksu is waiting to come in with him. Semih Deniz for Turkey, his guide is Mohamed Emin Tan. Nuno Alves of Portugal alongside Ricardo Abreu, and Manuel GARNICA alongside Francisco Castro. Those are the teams. 9 laps to go as they come in front of the main stand again here. 1,400 meters done. We have a number of field events beginning to get underway as well, which we'll keep you up to date with throughout the morning. 4 titles being decided in the field. This is the first of 2 on the track. Speaking of the field events, back to the track it is, and it's very much, Rob, as you were.
It is indeed, yes, still that same 4 leading group. Hasan KACAR and Semih Deniz of Turkey, leading Manuel GARNICA of Spain and Nuno Alves of Portugal. They are well and truly ahead of the other 2 athletes in this field. Ricardo de Pedrosa Losa is bringing up the rear just behind Avi Solomon. They've only just crossed the start-finish line. They are at least 200 meters down now on the leading 4. So it's 3 from 4, but we've still got a long way to go in this. As we say, Nuno Alves there sitting in 4th place on the shoulder of Manuel GARNICA. Was a early dropout, an early non-finisher of the 1500 yesterday. So he'll have a bit more fire in his belly. Something to prove, as you say, not had the greatest of luck in recent years in competition. He's just trying to stick with that leading 3 at the moment. But they are still very well bunched together as they cross the line once more with 7 laps to go here.
The funny thing about that dropout yesterday, though, with Alves, I would think, is there had been a bit of bumping in the very, very opening lap, and within a lap he'd stepped off the track, and it didn't look as if he pulled anything, but perhaps there was a knock which he felt was going to majorly affect him. And back to the track it is, and a little bit of a gap has emerged now. We're down to 3 at the top, and I think it's actually Alves, who's fallen away from the top 3.
Yeah, in the last lap or so while we were watching the women's long jump there, Nuno Alves has just been dropped by about 5 meters or so, but there has been a fall over there.
It's GARNICA, I think, is it, who's fallen away off the back? I'm not quite sure how that happened.
I think it's Semih Deniz, actually, of Turkey, who was leading with Hasan KACAR. He's up and he's moving, but no, he's pulled up. There it is. Semih Deniz of Turkey is withdrawing from the men's 5,000 meters. Didn't quite see what happened, maybe just a tangle of legs over on the back straight, but he is out of the men's 5,000 meters.
And that after winning the gold medal in the 1500 yesterday, and what a blow it was. It definitely looked to me as if there was a bump between him and Manuel GARNICA. And remember, the guides are there as well, and the guides are giving a running commentary, if you like, to the athlete as well, in terms of where the other athletes are in terms of the spatial movement of everywhere else. And it just looks to me as if there'd been a bump, and obviously Deniz assessed it quickly, and that he wasn't going to be in a position to recover in time and get his rhythm back. It's gone, and he's gone as well.
Yeah, it took a few steps, a few ginger-looking steps, but they were enough to tell him that there was no continuing in this 5,000-meter final. So the hot favourite now, without his fellow countryman in hot pursuit, is Hasan KACAR, and the field is stretching now. They've been bunched for the majority of this race so far, but Hasan KACAR now has a good gap to Manuel GARNICA, the man that was involved in the collision with Semi Deniz. Nuno ALVES still going round in third place. And you'd have to fancy that, bar any other mishaps, that these will be the top three of this competition, because they are coming round into the home straight, just as the other two athletes in this field cross the start-finish line. Ricardo Di Pedrazza and Avi Solomon are both in real danger of being lapped here. But the thing for them is, one athlete has already dropped out of that leading group of four. They just keep going round, and another mishap happens at the front. Although the gap is widening here, then they could still medal. But it is Hasan KACAR looking supremely formally as he crosses the line and goes.
Yeah, the noticeable thing as well, by the way, when he crossed the line there with 4 laps to go, is his guide pointed towards the Turkish fans who are at the bottom of the grandstand here, some of his teammates on the near side. There's quite a few Portuguese as well who are hoping to cheer Nuno ALVES across the line. You can see the guide switching between Mohamed Sakir and Erdi Aksu, guiding Hasan KACAR. He's the only one who's elected to do this, but it's working so far for the Turkish athlete who won silver yesterday behind the now departed Semi Deniz. Second place, Manuel GARNICA for Spain, and in third is Nuno ALVES of Portugal, who won 2 medals in Swansea 2 years ago, the gold in the 5, the silver in the 15. He was a bronze medalist in the 5,000 meters at the Worlds in Lyon in 2013, silver medalist in the 5,000 meters in Stade Canal in 2012 in the Europeans, and way back in 2002, 10 years prior to that, his only other previous IPC medal in the Worlds and nil bronze in the 1,500 meters. Looking very good for Nuno ALVES here. The shot obviously foreshortens it, but that's the 1-2-3 at the moment. KACAR leading with 3 to go.
3 laps to go then. Hasan KACAR crosses the line, and he's just 20 or 30 meters behind the trailing 2 in this men's 5,000 meters T11 final. KACAR will very soon be lapping Avi Solomon of Israel. KACAR has a comfortable lead at the moment over Manuel GARNICA, who has a similar lead over Nuno ALVES of Portugal. Here you see now KACAR on the back straight, about to go round Avi Solomon and his guide Asaf Dagan. And he does so a lap ahead of the man at the back of this 5,000 meter final. Now KACAR, and still looking strong, looking fluent, looking confident here. A bit of a breeze picking up very occasionally here in Grosseto will not hurt them at all. It'll be a nice light relief for them. Very hot, very early here in Tuscany. KACAR is approaching the second of the back markers. That's Ricardo Di Pedrazza of Spain. As they cross the line now, Di Pedrazza has 3 laps to go. KACAR, the leader, has 2. Manuel GARNICA is just starting to bob his head a little bit and try and go through a bit more work. Nuno ALVES is just about to cross the line, the 3rd place man at the moment, but it's really stretched at the moment, and Hasan KACAR looking hot favourite for the gold medal.
Hot favourite in hot weather. You'll see athletes being lapped now, and it does, in a way, complicate the situation, because it's not just a case of one man having to go around one man, but 2 around 2. Now, there are Spanish teammates about to pass each other here, so quick bit of Spanish in order. Yes, you can see exactly there. The signal has come to Ricardo Di Pedrazza and his guide Medeiros to step alongside. Por favor for Manuel GARNICA. That's precisely what's happened to help his battle for the silver medal. So it's Hasan KACAR who leads for Turkey. You can see the commentary coming alongside from his guide, Mohamed Sakir. And the guide is really telling him how that gap is foreshortened. Look at the speed from Manuel GARNICA now. It's only gone down to around 20 meters, then go back another 50. The man who's currently last on the track, and looks to be last on the track, is in third place. It's a real battle for gold now. Here's the bell. They go through in 15:10. We knew it wasn't going to be a fast time considering the conditions. Even with the scheduling, it is still very, very warm. Now it's a real battle for gold. Huseyin KACAR leads for Turkey, but it's only around 20 meters of a lead. Clear of Manuel GARNICA of Spain. Way back in third is Nuno ALVES of Portugal, who's having to go through lapped athletes at the moment. The top two have already done this. There's been a good fight back from Hasan KACAR. His guide leading very well. They can't swap guides now in the final lap. And it's Hasan KACAR who's still bringing it out for Turkey. Beaten in the big race yesterday, the Turkish 1-2, when he finished second behind Semih Deniz in the 1500 meters. But it's looking like glory for him and his first major championship gold medal. There's medals in the family. His wife Pina Kellers has won a bronze medal previously in the Europeans. She's a T11 also. Hasan KACAR now turning into the final straight and looking good. Holding out in lane 2 at the moment. It's still not lost for Manu GARNICA behind in second place for Spain, but now they'll sprint. Remember, the athlete has to cross the line first. It's Hasan KACAR of Turkey who's being led in all the way, and there's the gold for Turkey. Yesterday was Deniz in the 15. Today it's KACAR for Turkey in the 5,000 meters. It is silver for Manuel GARNICA of Spain, and Nuno ALVES has a little bit of work to do for third place. 16:25.54, the unofficial winning time. And it's third place for Nuno ALVES. There's still a lap to go for the Spanish de Pedrosa Loso behind him. So Nuno ALVES takes the bronze. It's his first major championship medal in 2 years. But what a great victory it is again for Turkey. Huseyin KACAR takes it 16:25 and bits. And how well he did.
He did indeed, yeah, as you say. As they went through the bell, GARNICA put plenty of pressure on him, closed the gap. At one point, it looked as if it had been shortened to just about 10 meters or so. But that is where the guides come in so helpful. Hasan KACAR was told that the GARNICA was closing in, and he just found a bit of extra gas in the heat here. He is being shaded by a few, he has two guides, so he has double the shade to the other athletes as he's sitting on his haunches there. Two more to finish this 5,000 meters T11 final. Ricardo de Pedrosa Losa is coming round the final bend now. Decent effort from him. He was alongside Avi Solomon for large parts of this race, but he's stretched out a large gap now over the European Championship debutant from Israel. So in he comes now, Ricardo de Pedrosa Losa. Fifth yesterday in the 1500 meters, fourth here in the 5,000 meters.
Still a bit of work for the Israeli athlete. In fifth place, it's Avi Solomon, who will take fifth in this men's 5,000 meters final. His major championship debut, the 32-year-old, his guide is Asaf Dagan. So that's that. Gold for Turkey, but not a 1-2 because Semih Deniz went out. And there was a stumble by Deniz and maybe a twist of an ankle or something. Now the guide went off the track there of Manuel GARNICA, that being Francisco Castro. There wasn't really anywhere for him to go, but Manuel GARNICA stayed on his feet, and that was very, very important for him. And with good reason. We'll tell you why a little bit later, because obviously one of our big favourites later in the day, because he couldn't stay on his feet, got up and recovered to finish the race yesterday, but didn't make the final. GARNICA did stay in his feet, and he picks the silver medal. Behind this man, Huseyin KACAR of Turkey, who is the European champion. So, 16:25.53, the winning time for Huseyin KACAR. Manuel GARNICA with the silver for Spain, 16:31, and Nuno ALVES the bronze for Portugal.